succeed?
My computer career actually helped me set up my resume. So with that help, I was able to land a job within the first 4 months of attending school at My Computer Career.
A few weeks before graduation, though, I landed my first job as a Tier 1 technician with a large insurance company. And 6 months later, I was actually working as a Tier 2 technician with a significant pay raise. And kind of like my first job, they were also very impressed that I had so many certifications.
You have to look at what you want in life and where you're at. For me, My Computer Career was an easy choice because they offered me the better lifestyle that I really wanted, and it was the only place that would really give me that upper hand in life.
The folks at My Computer Career are very caring. They really care about our success in the IT industry, not just with certifications, but also with finding a career and really being happy with that choice.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on your Friday. As usual, welcome back to another episode of My Computer Careers Get Into IT Live, where we do just that. We get into all things IT. We're so happy to be with you again today, and even more happy to have the opportunity to talk to one of our superstar grads, Leon Bryant. And you are joining us today to share some details of your journey before, during, and after My Computer Career. So I'm super excited to chat with you, Leon. Thank you so much for joining us today and spending time with us here on our live show.
Oh, thank you, Patricia. I do appreciate the opportunity and just to have this conversation.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah, and I'm going to read your bio here and correct me if we're wrong on anything. You are a U.S. Army veteran. Thank you for your service. Who has spent over 5 years managing critical communication systems and leading technical teams before transitioning into civilian IT. You are a graduate of My Computer Career's Cyber Warrior program, which is no easy feat, and you hold multiple CompTIA certifications, including A+, Network+, Security+, and CySA+, and you're currently working remotely as an OT and SAM inventory specialist at TekSynap. Is that how you say that?
Yes. It's a very long title, long name. I'm sorry. OT is an operational technology software asset management specialist there at TekSynap, and it's a very great position. Very great position.
Good. No, that's great. That's great. Thank you again. This is super cool. And listen, that's I think what everybody who goes into IT strives for. Let's be honest. They want that 15-word title because it makes you sense.
That way they can just say, hey, look at my bio and just see. I'd make acronyms for my job title now, so don't worry about it.
It's cool. Yeah, of course. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us on your Friday. As always, we do have somebody monitoring the comments today. It is Aaron. So if you guys have any questions for us, any questions for Leon, please put them in the comments. And if you're watching this after the fact, these do stay up on our socials. We will still see those comments. So again, if you have any questions or anything you want to say, please put that there. We will be checking that out. All right, let's get into the questions, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start with that Army background. You spent over 5 years as a system maintainer operator and then became here's another abbreviation, THAAD, system maintenance supervisor. So first of all, what does that mean? What was that work like? And when did you start thinking about what comes next after that military service?
So I once I decided to join the military, I went to a recruiter's office and spoke to a great recruiter, and they sold me on this great job called a 14 Tango. It's a operator maintainer of the launching station. So it sounds cool. Wow. And they have a cool little video and you just make you feel like, oh, I'm doing all the things. I'm really making a difference, which you are somewhere. But so that was a very physically demanding, taxing, and it created a lot of opportunities for growth. And so after serving about 4 or 3.5 years, both in Oklahoma and then Korea, and then it kind of takes you all over the place. That's one of the best things I was able to do as a system maintainer, just to travel, see different walks of life, different cultures, and then being able to interact with them as well from a work standpoint. So then when I got back from Korea, I was able to get stationed in Killeen, Texas, and that's where I was introduced to THAAD, which is Terminal High Altitude Air Defense. And so it's a lot. It's the pace is a lot different. So it goes from being very, as a system maintainer, everything is very high speed. Everything is very go, 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 to a little more laxed, but very detailed. So you have to be very detailed, very deliberate, very communicative to your team, because those are some of the things that you have to make sure that you do while you're in an air fight. So at around the time I reached Colleen, I needed to have a plan, because I knew that the military just, as great as it is, it may not be for everybody. 20 years may not be the thing that you want to reach to get that illustrious, I spent my time serving. So at that time, I decided, let me look into what I can do post to the military.
Right. Yeah, and something I'm sure we'll touch on later too is, we like to cover articles or share articles, especially on our socials, about like why veterans are perfect for the world of cybersecurity and IT. And I think a lot of those keywords that you were saying, like being communicative and doing all these things, kind of translate over to both fields in certain aspects. So I'm glad you said that, because that's definitely something that we see quite frequently. And you mentioned you were approaching your first year, or your final year, excuse me, in the Army without that concrete transition plan. And that's a pretty vulnerable spot to be in and talk about. So what was exactly going through your mind at that time? You said you really didn't want to like spend much more time in the Army, it sounds like. So what was that separation like, or that transition ultimately like? What did that come down to?
So ultimately, it came down to, what do you want to do? Some of the questions, and one of the things that you'll have to really sit down and kind of hone in on is like, what do you want? Where do you want to see yourself? How do you want to be able to provide if you have a family, or even if it's just for yourself? And so for me, those are the type of questions I started asking myself, and then started to go and seek those answers. Going to career counselors within the military helped, and then they have a mandatory transition plan where they have you go to seminars, and you're able to speak to individuals to be able to make sure that you have a plan going out. If not, then they may suggest that, hey, you should stay in for another contract, which sounds great, because people are like, oh, I don't really know what I want to do. I'll just stay in for another 3 years, then I'll figure it out. And that 3 years turns into 5 years, and that 5 years turns into, oh, wow, that's 10 years. Oh, I might as well just do the rest. So for me, when I first encountered that transitional question, I spoke to one of he's a chief, he's a warrant officer, and think of him as like a manager. And so he really just said, hey, when you go to your training, make sure you go to the entrepreneurship class. So I went to the entrepreneurship class, and that really opened up my entire thinking in terms of options.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, having such a difficult decision to make, though. I mean, it's definitely a spot that it's a very vulnerable spot to be in, for sure. And some of these questions, I will say, we did have a testimonial from you. So some of these sound like, we've had previous conversations. It's just because we do have a testimonial from you. So this next question was about your internship. You were a contractor offered you an internship, but there was a catch. You needed Security Plus. So walk us through how that conversation and needing that certification led you here to MyComputerCareer.
So that was a great conversation I had with the contractor. Contractors and I worked hand in hand on a daily basis as a part of the system maintainer in the THAAD unit. So with that, they knew that certain people weren't going to be around going forward. And they said, hey, Leon, are you interested in joining our team? I said, I am. That would be a great transition. I'm doing the job every day. It'll just be on the opposite side without this uniform. So why not? Right. And I get paid a little more? Sure. Come on. It sounds like a great deal. They said, yeah, so all you need to do, here's the catch. All you need to do is to get this Security Plus certification. And they said, man, it's easy, man. You can just do it. You can knock it out in no time. Don't worry about it. It's really simple. You can take the test. I'm like,
really simple. Okay.
Right. And for anybody that's in IT, or anybody that's thinking about getting IT, Security Plus may not be the first certification you want to jump right into without any prior computer knowledge. It just might not saying you can't do it. It can be done, but you might want to start at the basics. So that brought me to My Computer Career. When I found the program and I found the Cyber Warrior program, I found out that you get not one certification, you get 4. Yep. Those 4 certifications help build your understanding of computers, your understanding of networks, your understanding of security within those computers and networks, and then ultimately with CySA being able to make sure that you're maintaining that level of security. So to me, that made more sense to have the 4 certifications coming out of the military to be most marketable than to just get the 1 in hopes of getting the internship, because the internship was not guaranteed. It was like, hey, I'll talk to my supervisor, wink, wink, and we'll get you in.
Right. And who's to say that, while you're obtaining that Security Plus, they're like, oh, you know what also sounds good? CySA, or, something like that. You're going to
right. And
certifications at you.
So, Patricia, it's funny you mentioned that. The contractors did eventually. That's what they're going to have to start taking now. That's one of the things where they will need in the near future, from what I was told. And I said, wow. So when I graduated and I went back and talked to some of those contractors, they said, you have CySA already? I said, yeah. They said, wow. Like, man, you did it the right way. I said, hey, I'm glad it worked out the way it did, because I would have been stuck with just Security Plus maybe, and then still wondering so how does this work again? Mm-hmm. Well, I need another one. CySA. What's CySA? I don't want CySA.
Precisely. And, you answered my next question. So, you jumped into the Cyber Warrior program, which does offer you those 4 great certifications that you were able to obtain. And, I was going to ask what made it the better path, and that you answered it perfectly. So my next question would just be, tell us about the Cyber Warrior program. What was it like balancing the training with everything else you had going on?
So it was fortunately one of the best trainings I've ever entered into in my entire life. One of the best, top to bottom, from the introduction and being able to speak to our classmates on a daily, from our teachers. George D. Haven made a huge impact on my life. Melissa, she made a huge impact on my life. Being approachable, and they were very adamant about, hey, it's going to take some significant work from you to be able to accomplish this task in terms of these 4 certifications, but it's something that we believe in you to be able to do. We'll provide you with all the tools, but we will not do the work for you. And so that was one of the things that really helped. And then for me, I was able to tap back into the military training. So being able to go and look at it as, okay, this is like my basic training. This is like my advanced training. And then this is like my in the field training, to be able to apply to those different certifications, because it does take some serious discipline. It takes focus. A lot of people, I think, when you are trying something new, you tend to be afraid of it because it's something that is so unknown or foreign to you. But it's as long as you show up every day. It's like going to the gym. You show up every day, you'll see the results. And that's what my CC helped me be able to do, is just show up every day, because I didn't want to fail out of class for not showing up.
That's a great analogy, and to be honest, I'm surprised that's the first time I'm hearing somebody make that analogy, because that makes perfect sense. It's like going to the gym, just show up and you'll see the results eventually. And a subtle reminder that I need to get back into the gym. So.
Oh, me too. Don't worry. No.
I used to be so good about it, and then when the times shifted and it's darker in the mornings, I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up.
I understand.
So also in that testimonial, you mentioned your instructor, George, which is great. Sounds like he really made an impact. What did he do that helped complex concepts actually click for you? Because I'm sure you had some knowledge going into this, but like you were saying with Security Plus, it's tricky to just jump right into this field, especially the Cyber Warrior program, which is like our most fast-paced program. Right.
So the best thing about George is George has a way to break down concepts in a real life scenario. So he can make it something that you'll see and you can apply it in your daily life. Something that he has a vast experience with in terms of his understanding of the concepts to be able to relay those to you. And with that, he will share a story. And George, if you know George has some of the greatest stories ever. I mean, by far some of the greatest stories to be able to share with you. And it coincides with the topic. It helps it flow within the conversation of the class. So it's not just a death by PowerPoint where someone just saying, hey, I'm reading off this thing and I don't know if you can read or not, but you know, here's what you have to do. And he kept it light, kept it funny. And for that, that's why everything was able to stick, I think, a lot more. Because I could always make a note, say, hey, remember when George said this about this particular network? Hey, remember George said this about CySA? He said this about Security Plus. It would jog my memory when I was in the exams and say, you know what? Think a little bit more about it. Don't just rush to the first answer you see and think that that's the right one.
Right. Yeah. Or you remember in school where you used to like do the multiple choice and you're like, I haven't circled C in a while, so.
Right. He's like, you know what? C sounds good. You know, C.
My answer was 76, and the closest number is 74, so I'm going to go with 74. Yeah.
Right. You know what? Those are the things that happen, because another thing I learned from ICC is something that's very real for a lot of people is imposter syndrome. You enter into that imposter syndrome, especially when it's something new, especially when it's something fresh that you may need to read 3 or 4 more times before it actually sticks. And then that self-doubt comes in. But if you continue to show up and do the work, put in the work, then you'll be able to counter that imposter syndrome and say, no, I know this, or I am capable of doing this and achieving this. And so George was very, very, and Melissa too. Melissa, she would listen to you and let you get it out, and then she would come back and say, hey, we're not going to think like that, because that's not who you are. Let's think about who you are as a person, and let's make sure that we put our best foot forward.
Agreed. And I think it's, changing careers is tricky because you've spent so long perfecting something else to suddenly jump into that new thing like you were mentioning. It's jarring, and I'm sure your brain at times is going to be like, why did we do this? Like, why did we, decide to do something new? So getting past that is crucial for sure.
Yes, especially because sometimes you want to stay in your safe space, and your safe space may be that area that is just not beneficial for your overall growth, but it's comfortable, something you're used to, something you're familiar with. But with challenging yourself, you have to get used to being uncomfortable.
Great advice. So going back to those certifications, the 4 major certs that you earned with CompTIA, the A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, and CySA Plus, that's in a course, like we mentioned, is a pretty short window, and our Cyber Warrior program is no joke. What did you have, like a studying strategy? How did you stay motivated? Obviously, you had your instructor like George there and Melissa, they're kind of guiding you along, but was there anything that else that motivated you through those exams?
To be honest with you, my class was very instrumental in iron sharpens iron. And I can't say enough about my class. They were some of the best IT professionals that I've ever come across. And they motivated me each and every day we were in class, because you felt that someone was alongside you in the fight, trying to get better, trying to make a better life for themselves, trying to be more than they were the day before. So it wasn't just a study. I can't say like, oh yeah, I studied for 4 hours and then stopped for an hour and then I studied for another 4 hours. Like, no, it's not.
No formula to it like that.
Right. Everybody has their different learning patterns and abilities. So you have to play to your strengths. But I think being able to share that information with your classmates helped me a lot, because we were able to bounce ideas off of each other, and then also be able to go back to the material provided by MyCC to be able to learn the material and learn the lessons adequately. So that's what helped me.
And we hear that all the time from, CWP grads, that leaning on your classmates, especially too, because a lot of them, for the most part, are also veterans. And I think that helps as well. Did you find that? I'm sorry, I'm going off script here a little bit, but did you find that, being surrounded by other veterans was helpful at all, or?
In a way, yes. But I will go back to one of the first things that George made clear when we got into the class. He said, "Hey, we're not going by a ranking system here. We're not going by a time and service here. We are strictly about the individual and the person, the people. We want you as a class to gel and mesh well together to be able to help each other succeed." So it would be a lot of times where we would have, for example, in exams, we have a period where we would speak about, what did you learn? What did you feel like you need to go back and refresh yourself on? And if you didn't pass, okay, it's all right. We'll give you another chance to be able to do that. But let's shore up those things that you may need to learn a little better. And then the infamous woohoos, like the woohoos were a sense of pride. Like, you want your name to be one of those, woohoo, yes, I achieved something. I achieved that first certification, to be able to smile and say, hey, I'm on the right path. I'm on the right track. So the military camaraderie was great, but I can speak only for my class. We saw each other as human beings, and we were able to have that connection because we were all trying to better our lives outside the military.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's great to hear. I'm glad you're able to lean on them. So you talked about this briefly at the very beginning. I want to talk about your current role. Actually, let me backtrack a little bit. I do want to focus again on, before I get to that shift. I think you answered most of the questions that I had about that, but I did just want to plainly ask kind of what was the most surprising thing, or, something that you really didn't expect when transitioning from that Army life to civilian IT work. Was there anything in there, especially because I just know that people are going to watch this and probably be in a very similar situation that you were in? Was there something that people can anticipate when also making that type of shift?
So, yes, a lot of things happened during the shift. The first recognition that I was able to pinpoint for myself getting out of the military is like, I reclaimed my time. So I was able to set my own schedule and be able to adhere to my own rules and not have to be under the fearful watch of my sergeant's going to call me and ask me where I was this morning at 6:30. Why wasn't I at PT formation? Or my first formation's at 0900. And I got to make sure I got to have all this inventory done, or I have to make sure I have to have this ready for a field exercise or anything like that. So one of the things that really helped me is just really honing back in on being able to set your own schedule and call your own shots and be able to have more flexibility, which is one of the best things I think you can have just in life, just being flexible, because every day is a new lesson, a new journey. And once you get out the military, I feel like some of that tension is released, because you're not so, I know, at least for an air defense, we were always at the drop of a hat, we had to pick up and go. So that's kind of like the mentality you have to have. But being a civilian, you have to use that to the strength of being able to be adaptable.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm glad that we touched on, again, the important keywords and assets that you learn in one place can translate well to another. So it's great. Right. Thank you for that. Yeah. You talked about this briefly in the beginning, your current role. You're going to have to remind me what these abbreviations mean. You're currently working as an OT and SAM inventory specialist at TekSynap. So for folks, of course, you mentioned, I was going to ask, like, what does that involve? What does your day-to-day look like? You briefly touched on it, but can you explain kind of how you're able to use some of the stuff that you learned here at MyComputerCareer in your day-to-day work at TekSynap?
Well, that's G13 classified. I really can't get into all the details of what I do on a day-to-day basis. I
I'm
did
not going to
sign.
question it. If that's the answer, I can't go further. I'm that's fine with me.
I will say this. Being able to work at TekSynap, I am afforded the opportunity to be working along some of the most innovative thinkers and innovative organizational managers to be able to further AI development and growth within the government. That's all I can say, though. But that's all I can say. That's all I can say.
That's fine with me. We like secrets around here. I dig it. So one thing that you emphasized in your testimonial was the flexibility of remote work and being able to not only be there for your family, your wife, son, and newborn daughter. How was that? Yeah, very mysterious. Very mysterious. Hey, listen, I'm intrigued now. How was that work-life balance piece played out for you, and how crucial is that to be able to not only attend to My Computer Career, go through all this work, but able to find a job where you can have your weekends and you're able to spend the best time at birthday parties with your 7-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, can't miss those birthday parties. I'm telling you, can't miss them. So, with everything I've been able to accomplish and just learn from MyCC and then now working within TekSynap, it has afforded me the opportunity to work fully remote in a position that has unlimited growth potential. A lot of people can't say that when it comes to their current roles. They are stuck in maybe a role that has no real growth potential, or maybe the climate in the organization isn't what they believe in. But I can confidently say within TekSynap, I've encountered nothing but helpful people who want to get the job done and are also committed to success. That's one of the things that helps me. The flexibility piece is just kind of like a little cherry on the top, because it's like, oh yeah, you work fully remote. And some people take that as, you get to take naps all day. No, I don't. I don't get to take naps all day.
So nice.
It would be just to say, you know what, I'm gonna take a nap. That's not what flexibility means. What it does give you, it gives you the confidence to be able to complete your tasks in a timely manner so that you can do the other things that you have throughout the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love working from home. Absolutely love it.
Awesome. It's great.
Yeah. So in that transition of leaving then My Computer Career, there's another transition you have to go through, which is actually getting that first job. And, career services, that's something that we love to brag about here with My Computer Career, is career services is here for you for life, no matter how long ago you graduated. If, so you were to have graduated 5 years ago, got this great gig, and suddenly want to go somewhere else, and you need a little assistance, career services is there for you, no matter how long ago you graduated. And they seem to be a big part of your journey. And you gave a shout out to Sam and kind of the whole team there in your testimonial. So what did they do that actually moved the needle for you in landing that role at TekSynap?
So career services, I will be honest, when I first heard of career services, I thought it was too good to be true, because I said, you don't mean to tell me that I now have someone who's actually going to help me find a job. Like, wait, that's not possible. That's not real. That doesn't happen like that. But no, Team Sam all day. Team Sam all day. She was very helpful in just sharing techniques to be able to interview well, techniques to be able to ensure that you understand you're coming into a crowded market of IT professionals. Yes, you have these certifications, but what is going to make you stand out? What can you do to encourage an employer to say, hey, I want to call that person back. I want to be able to speak with them again and maybe bring them into the fold. So it just so happened that Sam, after we did a mock interview, she sent a couple job openings at TekSynap. Initially, I had the first one, and it was a field technician, and it was 90%. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 70% travel, 70-90% travel. And I said, I got a newborn on the way. I don't know if this is going to go too well. Well, the greatness of Sam and the greatness of TekSynap was that not only did they have that one position open, they had multiple positions open. And so they called me and said, hey, let's see what other skills you have. Okay, so we had a little more conversation going, and in that conversation found that I would be best suited for the position I have now, which is a fully remote position, paying significantly more than what the initial job that I interviewed for offered. So I said, oh, wow. Like, and that was all through career services. That was not me scouring the internet trying to find a job, because it is daunting, especially in today's climate. It is daunting if you have to go back into the job hunt and find a stable career.
Very much so. Yeah. And something that's really intimidating right now, and something that I've never had to deal with, is the introduction of like AI interviews and AI recognition and sweeping through your resume, and like just that whole thing is completely new and foreign to me, and kind of, I mean, it makes sense because some of these places are getting thousands of resumes, probably daily, but that is nerve-wracking. That's scary.
Oh, it is. And one of the keys that Sam was able to uncover, she said, hey, use the AI to your advantage. Don't let the AI intimidate you so much that you don't update your resume on the regular. Find those keywords that may be in that particular job field that you're trying to get into.
Yep.
Look through and create prompts that'll get you noticed by the AI. So it's kind of a catch-22. It's like, oh wow, I could use the AI to fight the AI. Oh, I got it. I got it now. I got the keys. So I think a lot of that is just with the integration of AI into our daily lives now, more and more. I think our best opportunity is to learn. And that's what MyCC helped me to be able to do, to not be afraid to learn something new.
I love that. Put it on a bumper sticker. New merch idea. I love it. Thank you. So my final question is something that we have definitely touched on, but to really drive it home, because again, I think your testimonial here and your time, thank you again for spending your time with us here on this Friday. I think it's just invaluable to people out there who might be watching and, who might be considering this type of career. If someone, a course veteran or otherwise, is on the fence about enrolling at MyComputerCareer, and I know, again, you've touched on them, what that transition was like and what surprised you, but what would you want them to know, especially if they are considering enrolling in MyComputerCareer?
What I would want them to know is you can do it. You can do it. If I can do it, okay. If I can do it, then you can definitely do it. I don't care what your MOS is. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your education level is. If you put in the commitment, if you commit to yourself, being able to sit in front of computer and take the time to learn, you can succeed. You can do this. A lot of veterans are pigeonholed into, oh, I only learned this because it was drilled into me during my training. Well, this is the same thing. If you just take the time and you decide to make this similar to your training of not giving up, showing that resiliency, showing that commitment to excellence, those things will help you succeed in MyCC, MyComputerCareer specifically. I guarantee it. Don't look at the end goal, which is to graduate and have all 4 certifications. Start with day 1. Day 1, show up. Day 2, show up again. Day 3, show up again. As long as you continue to show up every day, you will do great things and you will succeed.
You heard it here first. Heard it here first, folks. We love that. Thank you so much. And yes, hi, Sam. Sam is giving you some.
Team Sam, let's go.
I love that. And Trezzy, I do see your question over on. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that, Aaron. I will go walk later. How about that?
Hey, look, I'll go do some push-ups after this. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I got some free weights. The home gym is full and working, okay?
And I'm not going to do any push-ups. I will tell you that right now. That is not going to happen. Trezzy, I do see your comment over on Facebook. I unfortunately don't know what you're referencing, so if you want to comment again, we will see it and be able to circle back and get that answered for you. Leon, what did I forget? What did I miss?
Nothing. I don't have anything that you missed. I mean, if there are any questions, I'm more than happy to go through them.
Yeah, absolutely. Leave them down below, folks, and we'll make sure we'll get those to Leon if you guys have any specific questions for him. But thank you so much again for your time today, Leon. We really appreciate it. This was such a great discussion, and I'm sure people watching this will be able to take so much away from it. So we appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you for having me. Oh, last thing.
Yes.
Veterans, if you are on the fence, use your GI Bill. I did. That's how I was able to accomplish some of these things was through the GI Bill. And MyCC will walk you through the whole process. They will not leave you alone and make you feel like, oh, I got to go get this extra. No, they'll walk you hand in hand. Who do you need to talk to? All right, go talk to them. Who else? Go talk to them. Use your GI Bill. It's there for a reason.
It is there for you to use. Please use it. Aaron, thank you so much. You shared your LinkedIn profile here, Leon, so people can follow you over there. But again, thank you for your time, and thank you guys in the comments for hanging out with us today on your Friday. I hope you guys have a safe and fun weekend, and we'll be here next week. I can't remember what exactly the topic is. I apologize, but we'll be here next Friday at noon. Leon, if you don't mind hanging out just for a second while I end the live.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me, and good luck to everyone out there. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn. Be more than happy to go over any opportunities with you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next week.